Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
Hello, this is Josh McCown from Renault Winery Resort, and we have a very important announcement from Matt Sorensen about Learn and Grow, August 24th. Take it away, Matt.
I'm Matt Sorensen from Directed IRA. I'm excited to be the keynote speaker at the Learn and Grow event for Accountable Equity on August 23rd and 24th. Got to book your tickets and get registered. I'm excited to be there and to meet you in person.
Here's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our life, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the big show. It is Capital Hacking. I'm Josh McCown, and John Edwin, it is great to see you, buddy.
Oh, yes, Josh, that was funny. You came in with a karate chop. I'm now podcasting from a new office. Thank you, Mr. Matt Donnelly and Mike Soroka. Today we interviewed Blake Dailey, and man, he is a powerhouse. He's a young guy. He's moving mountains, and his confidence is overflowing. You know, if I were Latino, I would say the machismo is oozing from his body, every cell.
Yeah, well, he's a Division I football player. That'll do it for you if you have success like that. Air Force Academy, great guy. But I'm burying the lead here. Not only is he, hosting a great conference that we'll be speaking at called Boutique Hotel Con, he's got some great wisdom to share today. So you're learning about how he got into hotel redevelopment, like what we do today. But you're also going to hear a lesson on something called manufactured confidence. I think you'll really love it.
Let's go.
Blake Dailey. It just sounds like a guy who should have a night show, late night show, or maybe he should be on like CNN or Fox News.
Take it. That's entertaining, right?
It could be his musician name, his movie star name. Maybe his legal name is different, but Blake Dailey works. Blake, welcome to Capital Hacking, and can you give us a background on who you are so our listeners can connect immediately with you?
Yeah, well, had a show cancel in Memphis. I was going to be playing the saxophone, and that canceled, so got to come here with you guys today. But no, my actual background is was in active duty in the military in the Air Force, and just separated earlier this year, but been doing real estate the whole time. Started with residential and short-term rentals, doing the whole Airbnb rental game. And got into commercial real estate. I just love that side of it. So much more scalable in bigger numbers, right? So you can actually afford to have a team and kind of not do all the work yourself, which I was doing on the residential side. And that led me to having the commercial real estate background and the Airbnb background into boutique hotels. And that's what I focus exclusively on now. So I have my real estate company where we buy the hotels and the management company where we manage them, and working on a big project in Tennessee right now.
It's great. And home for you when you grew up, where were you?
From Indiana originally, small town, just woods and cornfields.
And Air Force, my wife's Air Force, her dad had a great career there, actually retired, full 20 plus years, captain. They loved it. How was it for you? It sounds like you were kind of already doing real estate the whole time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed serving. I liked wearing the uniform. I liked doing those things. I liked my position as an officer. You get to think a little bit more. Of course, anytime you're in the military, you're taking orders, but you get to do a little bit more on the officer side, from what I've heard anyway. And I really enjoyed it. I got to play football at the Air Force Academy, so it was always a cool thing to kind of represent the Air Force on game days, right, and be out there playing in front of tens of thousands of people, or trying to play. I spent a lot of time on special teams and had to work my way to the main field. But yeah, I always enjoyed it. But as the real estate portfolio grew, it didn't take long to surpass my Air Force income with the net cash flow from my portfolio. So you get to a point where you're like, man, I really like what I'm doing, and I know this is a great career. I've got great benefits. I know my career path. It's going to be safe. It's going to be secure. But I got this entrepreneur bug to where that known path of I can only go so fast and only do so much. I just really don't like that. And now being out and being full-time entrepreneur, it's really nice to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, and go where I want. So that's nice.
And you have a family, right, Blake?
The first baby's on the way. So yeah, I've been married for 5 years, and we got our first baby due in October, which is as
my
exciting as
God.
it is nervous.
Wait a
So,
second. Isn't that when Boutique Con is? November,
yeah,
right?
it's like her due date is like 4 weeks after. So
Okay.
I'm hoping she holds out, stays strong, and we can still host the conference. If not, everybody's going to get a late text message or email like, sorry, guys, wife's going into labor. But no,
Well, we're going to get to that. That's one of the leads of the story is Boutique Con. We're going to talk all about that. But
And Blake, buckle up because any questions you have, you can ask. I have 3 kids. They're older now, but you can ask Josh because Josh has 10 kids, 23 to 3. So he is the master. He's like Yoda.
Josh, you told me you had a lot. I don't think I realized it was 10.
Yep, and John is doing great with the 20-year gap there. He's right, but now they're 24 to 4. And it is 10, 6 ladies, 4 dudes, ready to go, help you out in any way we can. The hardest is the first.
That was like, until this last one, they were like all in the house at the same time.
Oh,
right?
the
4 years ago?
As of this weekend, we were all in the house getting ready for the daughter.
That is crazy. That's why you're buying these big properties and these resorts, right? You're just trying
People
to
say
find
that.
room for the whole family.
People do say that, but I'll tell you, there's nothing like the when you stay in a property you're pouring your heart soul into. It doesn't exactly ever feel comfortable,
right? Yeah. Every time
all
I'm
the things
there, it's like, you know what? I don't want to stay here. I got to get a break from this place, even though it's beautiful. We got to catch up. We got 9 more to go as of October, so we'll see if Nicole's up for that.
Yeah, when we hit 3, we tapped out. But I want to go back to when you were in the Air Force and you said that you started buying, I think, single family homes. What got you into real estate and how did you buy your first few properties? I mean, we understand once that snowball effect starts, it's you get rolling, but it takes a good 10 plus properties to really get profitable.
Yeah, I would think so. And really, it's like a momentum, right? As you're building your confidence. In the beginning, like I just manufactured confidence. Like it came from nowhere. Like I had no track record, green behind the ears, had no business being in, I was dealing directly with the sellers on these hurricane damaged homes. So one, probably had no business doing that large of hurricane or that large of renovations from the beginning, and then had no business, trying to negotiate these deals with the sellers in their living rooms after work, right? I'd switch out from my uniform, throw on civilian clothes, go meet with these people and try to put together deals. And that was working. I mean, it was a good time, I think, to start. Interest rates were low. I was also in a recovering market with stuff going on post-hurricane. So as far as getting sent to Panama City at that time, that time and place, showing up, I thought it was a war zone. I was like, what is the Air Force doing? But it was like a really formational time for me because I got to dive right into big, renovations. And like this false confidence that I had was like, I can figure it out, right? I read enough books, I listened to enough podcasts. Like I wanted to be a doer and not think about the things that I was doing. I was like, the only way I'm ever going to learn is by going through it. And I'm just going to stop. I'm going to slow my own progress if I'm not really brave enough to put myself out there, put out the offers, get into the renovations, find a contractor, find a partner, find a private money lender that I would need to put all the pieces together, right? Because I was a 22-year-old kid, no cash, no experience. Like we bought our house with a 0% VA loan and furnished it on a credit card. So like I was living, 2-week paycheck to 2-week paycheck, and just putting all that extra time and attention into really finding deals. I thought as a skill set, if I could find deals, I could find those other pieces of a capital partner, contractor, investor, whatever it might be. And that's the way it kind of shaked out. I think on the residential side, when you're starting, finding deals is probably your number one asset. If you're starting out with, without a bunch of capital, if you've got a bunch of money, then your resources, your financial resources and your cash is probably your biggest lever point. But as a young person, like starting out or just trying to gain the experience, if you can find deals, you can put it together.
You bring a lot of energy, doesn't he, John?
Yeah. And so this was in Panama when you first started buying?
Panama City.
Panama City, Florida.
Oh, I'm sorry. Panama
Florida.
City.
Yep.
Yeah. And then did you have a construction background? Like how did you start taking hurricane?
I did not. No, I was an Air Force contracting officer. So I was like, I'm going to be doing this for the government. I can probably just, use the same things I'm learning there, which completely different government contracting and a civilian contract that you do with your general contractor. very different. But I think, again, like looking at $4 million contracts on the Air Force side, I was like, oh, this is only an $80,000 rehab. I'm dealing with that all day, so I can go do this. It can't be that much different, right? And I think I just did a really good job at faking it till I made it. And I was just walking the walk, and like I didn't know what, I didn't know where the tripping hazards were, so I just kept walking, and it kept going. So I think, yeah, there's just manufactured confidence. I see now people trying to get into it, trying to get their first deal or their first boutique hotel or their first commercial deal, whatever it is. I think sometimes or oftentimes it's like this fear of, I don't know the asset class, or I don't have the investor base that I need to take down a bigger deal. It's like, I didn't have any of that stuff either. And most of the people that all three of us probably know didn't have all the answers in the beginning. There's a point in time where you've got to have more action than fear if you really want it. And if you want it, that's your threshold right there. It's like you get over it.
Yeah,
Blake.
I mean that's huge, and I think that a lot of guys in real estate are that way. I was the same way. I was 25 and bought a first shell in a bombed out neighborhood in Philly, and I had no business being there.
Hubris.
I knew nobody, and I knew nothing, and just like you, I was just literally building the plane as I was in the air, and it was the Wild West. But I wanted to ask you about the boutique hotel concept, because that seems like people have different ideas of what is a boutique hotel.
Yeah, I think there's three aspects of it. So one is that it's most generally like a small property, like 100 units or under, typically even 50 units or under. So that's one aspect of it. Independent. So it's not a flag property. It's not holding the Marriott banner, the Hilton banner, or Choice Hotels or whatever. It's, this individually branded concept. And then it's got a unique design typically, and also typically in like a trendy pop-in market, or like in your tourist center downtown, or the arts district downtown. So like small, independent, and unique are like those three triggers. And that's exactly what I got into when I started is smaller hotels that were all 20 units or under. They're independently owned. And I don't think there was anything unique about them when we purchased them, but we did as much as we could to make them unique, doing the renovations, adding amenities. So I'd say those three things: small, independent, unique.
Yeah. May I ask a follow-up on that, John?
Yes, please. Fire.
So, Blake, everybody listening today is going to take away this manufactured confidence comment, because no matter what industry they're in, I'd like to dive into that and dissect it just real quick. You used it a few times. I think I'm going to give it to you as your term. I've not heard other people say it. Why did that word show up in your mind today? Is that something you say a lot, manufactured confidence? And how do you define it, and how do you get it?
Ooh, I think it's more of like a way I go about thinking. I don't speak about it too much, but maybe I need to bring that more into the vocabulary. But I think it's this way of approaching a goal you want, a thing that you want, whether it's, I'm trying to get, my passive cash flow to get financial freedom, to get out of the job that you don't like, or whatever it is, or I'm trying to buy 100 units. Like, you have this goal and you don't know all the steps. You don't know all the things that you need to do to reach that goal, right? That's the whole point of the goal, is like, that's where I want to get. If I could just get it already, like, it wouldn't be a goal, I'd have it, right? So to get to that point, you've got to have better mindset, most likely, definitely better skill sets, probably a better network. Like, you need all these things to accomplish that goal. But how do you get those things? Like, you have to talk to people, you have to pick up the phone, you have to pick up the book, you have to listen to you've got to absorb and absorb content to learn those skills and build all that. And the manufactured confidence is like, when you're picking up the phone and you don't know what you're going to say to the seller, you don't know how to negotiate a deal, but you put a smile on your face before you hit send, and you're like, hey, I'm Blake Dailey. I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z in this market. It's under 200K or whatever that might be. And I saw you've got a hole in the roof or overgrown yard. It doesn't look like anybody's living there, because maybe you're calling absentee owners. Like, did you know the property's in this condition? It's like, oh yeah, I can send you some pictures of it, whatever. And it's just this manufactured confidence to almost be, right? Like, you're not trying to be, but just be now, and then it comes.
I say fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. However, eventually you're not even faking anymore. You're talking the talk and walking the walk. So
yeah, eventually, but in the beginning. in the beginning.
You know, I'm going to give you credit for that a lot because there's this other person who shared, "Be who you're becoming." I think is like this halfway between John's "Fake It
that's
to
a
Make
really
It"
good one.
and "Manufacture Daily." But I think Blake Dailey's "Manufactured Confidence." I'm going to give you a lot of credit for this. I think it should be the key to the show. Manufacture confidence. If you dissect what Blake Dailey just said, the Late Show stand-up comedian Blake Dailey, he it sounds like you have a show or something, buddy. You said you do things, you manufacture things, but education, action, calls, networking, doing, and by manufacturing, by doing something, you do become the confidence that you're becoming. So I think this word "manufactured" is awesome. I'm going to give it to you. You should trademark it, manufactured confidence.
Tip my hat.
It's a little
Thank you.
different. It's a little different than the other version of, not John's version of "Fake It Till You Make It," but the other version where it's pop culture today on social media is you can rent a jet, walk out in front of it, and tell everybody to give you $1 million. That's total fake it, right?
Mhm.
But you're talking about is like work, manufacture. I love it. Okay, enough said.
Yeah, I think if you just
I
put your
love it,
head
bro.
down and work your ass off, like you become the thing.
You become
that
it.
you're trying to be. And that's always been my thing.
Absolutely.
Through growing up to get the D1 football offer, to playing D1 football, to building a business. It's like you've got to work your ass off to
Yes,
do
you
those
do.
things.
Nobody
right?
gets in D1. That's very special. What position were you on the field when you got on the field?
Middle linebacker.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
About
Did you play
25 pounds
much?
of muscle ago.
Really? Good. So you're leaning out.
Straight up 25 pounds of muscle, same body fat percentage. But now I tell people I played football and they're like, "What were you, receiver?" And I'm just like, "Oh, that's hurtful." That's offensive.
Now, real quick, Panama City. Were you stationed at Eglin Air Force Base?
Tyndall. It's like 50, 60 miles.
All right, my Uncle Pete, my brother is there. We love him. So hello, Uncle Pete. Real quick on the real estate investing, the last thing I'll ask, and then John's going to grill you, and you're going to wish you were never on the show. So,
Bring it
real
on.
estate investing at 22. Something must have triggered this. Sometimes it's nice to know the catalyst. Where did this show up? Best buddy, best dad, your best friend's uncle. Where the heck did this get into your consciousness when you're going through the Air Force Academy?
I think before real estate, it was business, and real estate just became the business to accomplish that, pie in the sky goal I had in my head to, growing up is right to get rich, have the nice cars, to have the abundance, like just from a very rudimentary level. Like I wanted more because we grew up, I wouldn't say necessarily poor, but like on food stamps, hand-me-downs, all the goods, right? Single mom, and very grateful to have grandparents that were awesome. And from that stage, like I saw what like the financial constraints on our life looked like. And I was like, man, one day when I have kids, like I want to make sure that they're not in the same. And I grew up happy, right? It wasn't necessarily anything like that, but I could see us one thing. I could see, my mom struggling to pay bills, make the car payment, moved houses quite a few times.
You were searching, you were scratching for what angle you're going to get on that rock and climb it. And
exactly.
Somehow
I was just looking for the opportunity. And I knew when I got into high school that it was going to become business. I took a business class, went to a state competition, did really well there. And I was like, oh man, I'm good at this. Like half of business, I felt like at the time was just talking to people, manufacturing that confidence and looking good and trying to sound good at the same time. And then I think somewhere along my journey at the academy, picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad and kind of got onto, oh shoot, you could do this with real estate, and it could be this whole, like, this is where kind of financial freedom came into it. Is like I could, build up the passive cash flow, or, maybe have an active business that I can then reinvest the passive cash flow and that be real estate. And I just really like this idea of, I don't have to go out and, create something new, right? Like real estate is proven, and it's the tried and true method. It goes up over time. Like you can't lose if you buy and hold real estate, in my opinion. Like even Detroit, Detroit today is doing good. And 10, 15 years ago after the crash, it was terrible. But if you just held on forever, you're going to be fine. But I didn't have to create something new. I didn't have to create a new SaaS company. I didn't have to create a new app or widget. Like I could buy houses, go with the fundamentals of, a solid asset, like a solid tangible asset that will pay me every month. So I just really liked real estate from a rudimentary and simplistic standpoint. It's like, I can buy this at X, put money into it, then it's worth Y. So I get all that money back and it pays me, Z every single month. I'm like, X, Y, Z. Like those numbers make sense to me every time.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack there, John. I want to ask Blake to pivot into Boutique Con. Okay.
Boutique
This is
Hotel
the
Con.
What's that?
Boutique Hotel Con.
Oh, put the word hotel in there. Forgive me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Boutique Hotel Con. This is going to be your first one, right? It's this fall.
Yep, first
Tell us
event.
about
There's
this.
a little bit of that manufactured confidence. I was like, let's just do it. Let's just, build it. They will
Who
come.
should come? Where's the genesis? Where's it going to be eventually? Tell us more about this.
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com.
Hey, it's Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. Enjoy.
Yeah, the genesis was, when I bought my first boutique hotel, it was got under contract at the end of 2020, closed the very beginning of 2021, got underway in the renovation. I saw the numbers on this thing. It was going to be amazing. And I was like, just the unit economics, like bought an 8-unit for $357,000 that would make between $200,000 and $240,000 per year. I was like, those unit economics are amazing. I need to be buying more of these. It was at a time, this is right into 2020, beginning of 2021. COVID was happening and like hospitality was hurting. So there's all these distressed assets in the hospitality space, but I was in Florida at the time. So like hospitality down there was awesome. Like people were still flooding the beaches. So I was like, this whole national hospitality recession is like, I'm not seeing it. It's like, if I'll let everybody else think it, but I want to go buy some hotels right now that are, kind of this hybrid in between what I had with my short-term rental portfolio. I think we had 8 short-term rentals and another 3 long-term rentals before buying that first hotel. And the numbers looked really great. I started telling people what I was looking for. I started looking for more of them. And there's this 12-month period after buying the first hotel that I bought 4 more. So it was 5 hotels, 5 asset purchases in 13 months. And then the next like 2.5 years of just trying to figure stuff out. Like, we took on a lot. It was 85 units. The portfolio was in total. We had 26 employees at the height doing $3 million in revenue. So there was a lot that happened, right? I had to learn housekeeping operations, guest service operations, all of the back end to run a limited service, operated at a distance hospitality company. Because that's really what it was with these hotels instead of short-term rentals. Like your touch points with guests are more, like the reviews matter more, because that's going to lead to future bookings and higher revenue and like this whole virtuous cycle, or it can be a not so virtuous cycle. So through that time period, like I didn't have really anywhere to learn from. Like nobody was buying those kind of assets and doing these renovations with. That's kind of where it started, was that 2020 timeframe, 2021. So I was like on the beginning of that before people were talking about boutique hotels like they are today. And like I was trying to ask short-term rental people how to, hotel operations tips, and it just didn't fit. So we really had to build everything in-house, and we built a whole operations suite that now, when I sold my company last year and rolled into this new hotel, is like we had a, essentially plug and play. And obviously it's, evolved even more since that and got more solid, and the team members are even better trained now. But I was like, if I can replicate that system on a bigger hotel in less time, somebody else could go buy a 20-unit place and do this just hum, right? And be profitable from day one. So that is where the genesis came from. Was like, I had to struggle. I probably lost multiple 6 figures of just the ignorance tax that I paid. It's like, if I could save people that, they would see how special this niche is, where you can really blend your creativity and like the lifestyle pieces of that kind of business with the financial rewards of it as well. And on top of that, you can bring in investors and give them passive returns. Like just everybody loves it, right? It's a good win-win-win. And trying to provide that model for people, because I see people in the short-term rental space that get stuck. Like they might get out of their job, but they replace their job with now just working for themselves. Like they are their own employees stuck in their business because they don't quite have as much revenue. So it's kind of like showing how boutique hotel are the commercial version of short-term rentals, and how you can make that jump and scale up, get more revenue, hire more people, and actually then step back and work on your business, not in your business. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. And earlier in our interview here, you mentioned, you were looking for a better network. You were looking for content to elevate yourself from the single family to the Airbnb to the boutique hotel. And it sounds like you're creating something where people can come in and actually get a playbook and get help on how they can kind of replicate what you're doing. With the boutique hotel, because I've been in a few, and each one is different. Do you have is it sort of like an Airbnb says, is someone at the front desk, or do you go in and maybe the code changes each time somebody leaves? How does that work? And then what amenities are in there?
I've done them at both scale. Like the one that we're doing right now is 130 units on 8 buildings spread over 10 acres. So that one has to have, I think we have 16 employees on site. So 4 front desk agents, obviously not working at a time, but rotating shifts. We'll have 2 on the weekends. Got 10 housekeepers, 2 managers, F&B and venue sales. So it's a much more, I would call it like legit operation compared to the smaller ones that were in the 20 unit range, or we'd have 2 in one market. So, 40-ish in a single market. Those we were running without front desk, very staff light. We'd have call them our property managers or maybe location manager. You're just, they're there on site, but they're not working in front office and staffing the front office. They're, doing inspections, managing the team, doing inventory, making your orders, handling guest service issues with the guests on site. So that is a much staff lighter model, higher NOIs typically, and, easier to run, I think, especially if you can buy one that's in your market and you can be around it through the go live phase and, 2-3 months after that. And then you can run that thing from anywhere. And the same is true with the bigger one, but, more people, more management, more systems. So they run different. The expense ratios, vary a little bit, but I'd say the smaller ones are like these hybrids between a hotel and an Airbnb, where you get the flexibility and the ease of booking from the Airbnb type listings, from the STRs, but you get the quality and the amenities and the standards of a hotel if you're doing it right. And now on the bigger hotel side, you still get that aspect a little bit. And we are doing technology upgrades through our renovation across the hotel so that we'll have, our automated locks, but with our demographic in the Smokies, we still wanted to have the key cards. So they come to the front desk, get the key card, but they can also get the code sent to them and then use their phone as their key card for the millennial crowd, the ones that are more tech forward.
Where the app,
so it's like blending the best of both to like a really fluid, both booking process from like the marketing where they find you and then go through the funnel and book all the way to the check-in.
Nicely done, Blake. And for that, did I hear you correctly? You sold the first few hotels and then flipped it into a bigger hotel?
Yeah, we did the 5 in the 13 months. 4 of those were with a partner, and then we decided to go our separate ways. I think spring of 2023, and then rolled the money from that sale into a bigger hotel.
And so Boutique Con, I'm excited to be part of it. It's
it's going to be fun.
Hotel Con, forgive me.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
We're going to blow you away with wisdom and power and passion. So anybody listening today, please, we'll have a link in the show notes. Join us if this is a curious potential opportunity.
Just get you up there with your slideshow, just showing Renault or showing the golf course, and just like, hey guys, this is my presentation. Just look at this.
Yeah, right.
Questions will be in the back after.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Blake, you were thinking of coming up to one of our learning grows, right? I think that worked for you.
I'm actually there at the end of the month. I somehow convinced my wife, who's going to be 7 months pregnant, to make the trip with me. She wanted to take one last trip before she's, hunkered down and nesting for her next phase. So yeah, we're going to do that trip for that weekend, and the next weekend, my best friend's getting married in Baltimore. So we're just
that's
East Coast trip.
That's awesome. And my wife is actually going to be on one of the panels, and I'm going to MC that event.
We're talking about Learn and Grow. And Blake, we got to get you. So there's 2 shows going on here, right? We got Blake's event, Boutique Hotel Con. Go ahead and give us the URL, Blake, and the date.
Yep. Yeah, I'll send it over to you guys, but it's boutiquehotelcon.com. And those are it's September 13th through the 15th down in the Smoky Mountains. So the Knoxville airport's about 20, 25 minutes away. So that'd be where you fly into. And yeah, the lodging is included in the ticket, the food, the drinks for the weekend, everything. So it's pretty much all inclusive. Just get yourself there. And me and Josh and some other awesome speakers are going to be there. Just, good networking for the weekend, talking boutique hotels and capital raising and operations and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're looking to keep growing as well. So it'll be a group of entrepreneurs there. And then we'll have you at Learn and Grow August 24th at Renault Winery. And Blake, while you're up here, tell your lovely wife that we could, I'm going to work my magic and get you to stay at the Island Hotel, Ken Island. And that's not far from Baltimore. So maybe you leave here, you go there, you relax, get on a boat. All right, my brother. This has been a treat. Why don't you tell us how to follow up with you and give us some web addresses or however you want us to follow up, Blake?
Yeah, the best way would be on Instagram. You guys can find me on there at Blake J. Dailey. If you guys got boutique hotel questions, STR questions, I'm your guy. Happy to help.
Very exciting.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Great show. Thank you.
Damn straight. We just got we got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.